Hi, this is Liv with Professional Equine Grooms, and I am looking at some wonderful pictures of a gorgeous painted draft horse cross. Her name is Juno, and her owner Jess has asked for some specifics about how she can kind of pump up her grooming program. So, Jess mentions that some of her biggest challenges include her horse's tail. It's a little bit dry, it's a little bit yellow, and it's incredibly dense. So, when you have a horse that's obviously a draft cross, they like to do two things. They like to get really big and they like to have lots and lots of hair. The best thing that you can do for your horse's tail is to make sure it stays really, really conditioned. You want to go ahead and use a really mild shampoo because you don't want to strip everything off of your horse's coat, like all those natural oils that really protect the hairs. So after using a mild shampoo, give the tail a rinse in some white vinegar. Then you can apply a deep conditioner or a grooming oil even that you can leave on for a day or so. If it's too oily and things are starting to get oil all over the place, you can definitely remove some of that grooming oil with another easy, gentle shampooing. You really want to stay away from like getting out the harsh detergents and the chemicals because you want the hair to be resilient to picking up stains, and it has to be conditioned, and you can't strip the ever-loving life out of it with really, really harsh shampoos and detergents. That should help a little bit with the color and the cleanliness. Now, because she's a mare, you might also find that she dribbles a little bit of urine on the tail. So you can do a very, very loose French braid down the length of her tail, kind of like just on the top layer, so all of the shorter hair at the top can kind of get out of the way as she lifts her tail to urinate. That might help with some of the coloring as well. Don't be afraid to bang the tail. That's just kind of lobbing off a little bit at the bottom. If she's a dressage horse, that's totally appropriate for her discipline. It will make things appear a little bit wider and fuller at the bottom, but from the looks of it, it's not crazy, crazy out of control, wide and thick. So banging is definitely an option to kind of tidy up the ends and keep things really, really pretty. It's up to you if you want to do anything with the tail top. Some dressage riders and event riders like to trim the sides of the tail dock up towards where it intersects with your horse's rump. But for a draft cross, that can sometimes make their butt look really, really big, and you want to go for that balance of, musculature in the hind end and having an appropriately groomed tail. So you might want to play with that, see what happens. If not, not a big deal either. The main thing is if you are going down center line, you just want everything to be tidy and clean and bright. Now, Jess also mentioned that her other challenge is the feathers, and that is something that it seems to be really, really, divisive in the horse world. Either all feathers all the time or no feathers any part of the time. And from my perspective, as somebody who's really concerned more about a horse's health, I prefer to see the feathers be clipped simply because it's easier for you to monitor their legs and their tendons and their digital pulses and their hooves and their coronary bands. It's also easier for you to keep clean because there's not so much going on down there. Now, you don't have to do a massive clip job like if you were body clipping your horse in the winter and using like a number 10 or a number 15 blade. You can use a blade that leaves a little bit more hair, like a number 9. You can even find 8 or 8.5 blades to put on your clippers. That will give you a really, really tidy look on the lower leg. You're not going to have to clip all the way to the skin, so there's some bug protection, sun protection there as well. If you don't feel like buying another blade, you can also take the blade that you have and add a comb, or sometimes called a clipper guard, to that. And that basically stands the clipper blade away from whatever you're clipping and just takes a little bit off the top. So that might be an option for you as well. But it is important that you can be able to use your eyes and your fingertips to inspect and feel the coronary band, the fetlock, the pastern, the digital pulse, and all of those really important structures that are in the lower leg that sometimes feathers can get in the way of. Other than that, it's going to be a kind of a maintenance issue, an as needed type of thing. If you do notice that the legs are taking a little bit longer to dry than what you like, especially now that we're getting into like mud season and scratches and dermatitis and things like that, you might want to clip them down just a little bit. You can also towel dry your horse's legs to kind of help speed things along in the warmer weather. Other than that, she's really bright, she's really pretty, and stay away from those detergents.